Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. If you'd like to know the absolute latest on any commercial real estate related topics, check out our on-demand show podcast. You can hear these shows while they're still available on iTunes and the show website, commercialrealestateshow.com. Well, today our show is called Sustainability for Health and Profit. Please welcome my next guest, Jimmy Mitchell with Skanska, a multinational construction and development company based and publicly traded in Sweden. They have 26,000 employees around the world. Jimmy, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Well, and you guys are busy all over the world, and I know you're looking at some of the latest products and design and sustainability. So what are some of the new sustainable products and technology that are used in new construction today, and what might we see down the road?
Well, a really fun one is called View Glass, where you can determine the shading of the glass based on the light. So during the day, if you want to reduce some of that light coming in, it can be shaded, and then at night it can be clear, which can help for some of the thermal aspects of the building. But then it can also be really fun. You could have an application where you might want to have it be dark and then over time light and have that kind of effect and maybe a show type atmosphere. So View Glass is really interesting.
Right, and we thought we're the only ones with the show atmosphere here, right?
Yeah.
So is that a fairly expensive glass, or?
Yeah, it's certainly expensive. It definitely is a cost premium, but it's interesting and fun stuff. So.
And the cost savings is there, right, for the utilities?
In that particular situation, there, the payback might not be as great, but there definitely are thermal cost savings with the heat loads going on your equipment. Yeah.
Okay. Are there other technology or products that we might see down the road or that you guys are using today?
One that's really fun is a mycofoam, which is a mushroom-based insulation. And I think that's really interesting in general for products to be in the supply chain of something that is a crop. And it's kind of a silly mushroom-based thing, but it has really good qualities for insulation and fire rating.
So we all might have mushrooms in our ceilings here soon.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Well, let's talk about net zero. When might it be more practical economically to build buildings that are totally self-sufficient on energy and water? Is that real, and when is it economically viable?
Yeah, so we're in the progress stage of that. Some of our clients, like a nonprofit college campus, you might be able to justify a campaign for an upfront cost to go net zero, because you could justify it through those drastic savings in water and energy bills. Then we're working with clients like stadiums who could be a net zero during non-event times, and that way you're using your resources only during the event. But then from the commercial development side, you're seeing more and more of these district power scenarios going on. And that's basically, if you have an older building that has, you could tie all the chill water together into a high density district, and then just focus in on going net zero with that facility.
And there are some facilities now that are net zero commercial buildings, right?
Absolutely. We have a project at Berkshire School in Seattle, which is a net zero kind of an experiment with education, and it's a classroom that has net zero water and energy, and we're developing beyond that. We've got a project in Virginia that's going after that, and a lot in the pipeline where the clients are considering those net zero.
And are they expecting a payback with the utility savings over, over 50 years, or how long is that payback on a net zero?
No, it's going to be less than that. Today, we seem to be enacting a lot of things that have a 3 to 7 year payback. But if you're going to go to something that would be net zero and involve something that might be like geothermal, you're going to be looking at more like a 15-year payback, or solar. If you have some subsidy, it might be to that level as well.
Wow, so that's really fast. It seems to me. If you're not paying any utility bills for 15 years, and then after that you're net zero, the cost savings is incredible.
If you're an institution that wants to be around for 50 years and that's your plan, you should consider some of this.
That's amazing. Most of us do want to be around a long time, right? Whether we're building or people.
Exactly.
Well, what are some sustainability improvements that can be made on existing buildings, maybe some older properties that make sense, and what kind of payback time do you see on some situations there?
Well, one thing that is plug load right now, the amount of power that we're using, and we're seeing code change to where there'll be a shut-off where you could plug certain appliances into the outlet that will shut off at night. So it makes that an automatic thing instead of relying on your employees to turn everything off. So that's really seeing a great payback. Another thing would be just the mechanical equipment. That's going to be an expensive performance type payback, but I'm an advisor for a building, and it was an old space that was built in 1970, and they were having $20,000 a month utility bills, and after they just renovated the mechanical air handling units system, they went down to $10,000 a month. So seeing some significant savings.
And is that something that someone can call a company like yours around the country, around the world, and that you could come out and look at a facility and give an estimate of, hey, what that upgrade would cost and what the reduced cost savings might be?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll try to model that and get to that conclusion.
What are some other samples of improvements and payback time that people could consider?
Well, I'll give a few examples. Like Skanska, we renovated our Empire State Building space, 32nd floor, and we spent a 4.7% premium to go LEED Platinum. And our base utility consumption went from $3.49 a square foot a year to $1.25 a square foot a year. And that payback was just under 5 years for that 4.7% increase in cost.
And are you officing in that building? You're here in Atlanta. Where are you officing?
My office in Atlanta is downtown. And
okay, so you're not in New York. I was just wondering about the employees in that space. Do they enjoy it more, or are there any challenges with sustainability in some of those offices as a user?
They like it. One thing with sustainability is the comfort level, and quite often the design will incorporate nice light. And in the Empire State Building, there's plenty of windows, and so that's nice. They have raised access flooring, so the air conditioning comes from the bottom up, and they're only cooling, let's say, the bottom 5-6 feet of the floor. And that flooring allows them a little more controllability on the air that they're getting, and so that's a nice feature for them as well.
Okay, we're short on the break, but what about LED lighting? What kind of cost savings and payback can you have there?
So that's a great thing. If you do due diligence and you study it, the cost of LED has been going down, and so we're seeing more and more types of lighting become more affordable. So you kind of want to be on the cutting edge there, and then once certain types of lighting become affordable, then you get them. And 1/8, 1/10 the power cost of regular lights. So it's a significant savings.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, we did LED lighting in our studio here because it's softer, it's cooler, we can control it better. Then we looked at the cost savings of the utilities, and it was amazing. We thought we were going to need a lot of power in the studio, and with all these LED lights, we really don't. And it's better lighting, and it's certainly better on your eyes as well, so it's a better environment. Well, we're going to take a short break here. We'll have more from Jimmy Mitchell in just a moment. Hey, if you appreciate the show, thank our sponsors. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you in part by your friends at Bull Realty. When your business requires proven performance, visit bullrealty.com or call 800-408-BULL. Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. Our show today is called Sustainability for Health and Profit. We're talking with Jimmy Mitchell with Skanska. And Jimmy, it seems like through the recession that some of the users, some of the tenants became less interested in absorbing the cost associated with some of the certifications related to sustainability. What do you see in the marketplace?
Absolutely. The clients that we have that want to be branded within the sustainability piece are going through the certification, and they tend to be going big. They're thinking LEED Platinum, LEED Gold, maybe even net zero for some aspects of their building. But the vast majority of the rest of the folks say, we want to do the things that save us money, which means we don't want to spend the few $1,000s of resources to go through the certification process.
And how much more expensive are some of these certifications so let's say I do everything to get to go LEED, then how much more additional cost percentage-wise or what have you will I have to have the actual certification?
So if you're going LEED, finding that if you're just going certified, it could be free, just part of your planning process, with the exception of if you get a LEED consultant, then you would have that extra consulting fee. If you go to Platinum, I'm seeing anywhere from a 4 to, in some cases, a bigger, like 12% higher cost.
Yeah. Okay. In some cases, reuse of building supplies and construction, it can be very helpful for cost savings and to the environment. How much of what goes into solid waste landfills around the country is readily reusable building and materials?
One thing about that is studies show from C&D waste, which is commercial demolition waste, 5 to 25% of the stuff in the landfill could be reusable. And at that point, it's been hit by a hammer, sawed it to get into the elevator, service elevator, or what have you. So certainly 25% is a solid number, and if the industry begins to take care of some of those materials more, it could even extend a little higher.
And this is important because this isn't recycled material. This is reused, so you're not paying and having the energy cost to rebuild this.
Exactly, and we see some things like casework or wood products, where refurbished wood products are gorgeous and really nice materials to have in your space.
Okay, and there's some facilities around the country that are helping construction people and design people with this, right?
That's right, and some of the major centers, particularly areas that have high tipping fees, they have reuse centers. I co-founded one in Atlanta called the Lifecycle Building Center. We've been together for about 3 years, and we are that. Folks who do demolition can come and drop off their materials, and then other folks come and buy it. In the meantime, nonprofits can get that material for free.
Wow, that's interesting. So nonprofits can kind of come in there and shop, and maybe they pick up some cabinetry or some doors and some other things that they'll have no cost.
Yes.
And there's other facilities like that around the country?
There are, yeah. When we started studying it, we were sister organizations in New York, Seattle, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Portland. So they're popping up all over the country.
And we're involved in a couple of projects at the moment where there's demolition, and I look in the space, and I see some nice cabinets. I see some nice things that could be reused. So what should contractors be doing around the world to take advantage of that? I mean, they might have some reduced cost to put this in the landfill, right?
Right, yeah, so one thing you want to make sure is that you're capitalizing on your metals, because the demolition contractor absolutely deducts based off of the salvage, because that's their cash flow. And after the metals, you throwing things away is expensive. So what are reusable bulk materials that you can take care of, and instead of throwing it into the dumpster, you throw it into the reuse center.
Okay. And is there some self-help information out there on your site or somewhere that would show a contractor how to handle the subs, or how to get these products out of the space where they are still reusable and they're not all beat up?
Sure. I mean, visit lifecyclebuildingcenter.org, and you can check out our website and use the information on that wherever you are.
Okay, and we're short on the break, but one of the things that I've seen where I'll go into a building and I'm representing a REIT to sell their office building, and I'll go in and I see a lot of waste, and I say, well, you could probably get a payback of 2 or 3 years by changing this. Why don't you do it? Some of those things could be financed and have the savings immediately, right?
Yeah, performance contracting is a great concept that needs to be improved. Typically right now the clients think about it internally and they finance it through future cost savings and just that route. However, The great thing about the future performance contracting is that if you do reduce energy and reduce costs, you make more money. And that's a really great sustainable market where efficiency drives profits.
Right. Okay. Well, Jimmy, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
For more information from Jimmy and Skanska, visit Skanska.com. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Florida International University, Real Crowd, and Bull Realty Commercial Brokerage, a great place to do business. For more information on these companies or to access additional podcasts, videos, or blogs, visit commercialrealestateshow.com.